Hey, it's Mr. Eng, going over the quiz you guys took. Question number 1 says, which the following polynomial is factored using the list method? You're just listing out all the factors. Find the greatest common factor. That's all you had to do. Some students asked me, what are we supposed to do? And I even made a reference of worksheet that. It's just the front worksheet number 1, the front side. So if you break up the factors of 4x to the 6th power, it is 2 times 2 times x times x times x times x times x. And then if you list out the factors of 4x to the 3rd, it is 4 is 2 times 2, and x to the 3rd is x times x times x. And then 2x is just 2x. Then you're actually just going back and thinking about which ones, what do they have all the same? Well, they all have a 2 in there. 1, 2 in there. And they also have 1x. And that's the answer. The answer is just 2x. Common mistakes that I saw on all the data is students wrote 2x and then they wanted to write another x. Now, I know what they meant. They were trying to refer that that's multiplication, but in multiplication, you're doing 2 times x, a dot or nothing. So you don't need to have that x. Okay, let's say you wanted to finish this problem. So if your GCF in purple was 2x, then what was left in there is the 2, change it to a yellow, 2 and then 5 x's. So that would be 2 times x to the 5th. Remember, this number, the exponent, is kind of referring to the quantity, right? If you just ordered 5 pairs of Jordans, this is your quantity. You have 5 of those. Okay, in the green now, you're just left with a 2, and then, so that would be plus x squared. And then this one, you got to be careful. There's nothing left here, so you have to do it times 1. So that would be a plus 1. And this would actually be my answer. How do you check your answer? You can distribute 2x times 2x to the 5th would be 4x to the 6th. 2x times 2x squared would give you 4x to the 3rd power. And then 2x times 1 would give you the 2x. So that would be question number 1. Question number 2, factor the following expression 12x squared plus 24x. Okay, so there's 2 ways you could do this problem. You can go about by doing the GCF in which you did the last problem. So you can do 12x squared is 12 times 1, and you'll notice I didn't use 4 times 6. You could use 2 times 3, but I just wanted to show you this one. This is probably the easiest way, hopefully. Those are my multiplication symbols times x times x. And then 24x is going to be 12 times 2 times x. Did you see why I picked 12 as my greatest common factor? So you're 12 there, and you have an x in common. And then you just go about what you did not circle. You have x plus 2 would be, and this would actually be your answer. Okay, let me do it the second way. Some students did this one, so I want to show you guys. And this is actually using the x box method of factoring. Okay, I would take out a 12 first, so you have x squared plus 2x plus 0. And I added that 0 as a placeholder. So you have your A, B's, and C's. And this 12 is going to keep dropping down. And what I'm doing is the x method above. So A is 1 times C is 0. So A times C is 0. And my B value would be 2. So 2 numbers that multiply to be 0, but those same 2 numbers add to be 2. So that would be 0 and 2. So these numbers here, I'm going to place in my binomials. So this would be x plus 0 and x plus 2. Remember the order in which you write these parentheses, or these binomials they call them. Bi means 2 because there's 2 expressions, 1, 2, 1, 2. And the order doesn't matter because it's split by multiplication. And so you have the 12. Okay, now x plus 0, you don't have to write the 0. So it's essentially just x. And then you have this x plus 2 over here. Now, you'll notice if you look to the left side, it actually looks the same. You could just take out those parentheses and those are exactly the same. I do want to reference why some of these are incorrect. If you distribute this one, a, so we already know that the answer is here. That's the correct answer. I'll star it. Why are the other ones incorrect? If you distribute this, you'll notice you do get the answer, but what I want to highlight in here is that you can still pull out another x. So I'm going to call it CF. This 12 here is a common factor, but there's more to it. So my example is kind of like you and your friends are standing around, and you're in you're in the quad, and during lunch, and you guys are all wearing your black hoodies. But if you look into it, maybe you guys have something more in common, like you really like pink or something like that. And no one knew, but that's what you really like. And so it's just like this, or you guys have more in common. There's something greater than just the 12, okay? That's why A is wrong. Okay, why is B wrong? If you distribute this, you would get 12x squared is correct, but then if you distribute or multiply, you get 24x squared. And does that match this one? They are not equal, so that is wrong. And let's look at this one, same thing. You can't pull out a 24. Again, if you distribute, you would get 24x squared plus 24x, and this doesn't look like the original, so D is wrong. Okay, so even in my multiple choice, I'm trying to show you guys there's multiple ways, and I even went through each of the choices why it's wrong. The other why A, B, and D are wrong, and why C is correct. Let's go to question number 3. Factor the following expression. Okay, so quadratics are in standard form: ax squared plus bx plus c. Do you see the strategy, what I did? If you write out what they're in blue, this can help you identify the letters. Remember, what's in front is what you need. So there's no number, so it's either 1 or 0. In this case, it has to be a 1. If it was a 0, 0 times anything would make it go disappear. So I'm going to carefully highlight each of these letters. Okay, and let me write it down for you. A is 1, B is negative 15, and C is positive 56. Okay, I did this because I saw a student in class today going over the problem, and they wrote positive 15. It is important that it is negative. All right, let's go over the X method. So, let me use a highlighter. Now, pay attention. Let me do both the X and the box, and you'll see why. In this problem, let's use blue. Purple? Sure, purple. A is equal to 1. So I only need the X part. You don't need this one. And the reason why you don't need this one is that box is only used when you have the A values greater than 1. So when A is equal to 1, like in this problem, just use the X part. If you have a number like 2, 3, or 4 for the A value, then you're going to use both the X and the box. Now, if you are confused, I tell students just use both the X and the box. Let me show you why it still works. Let's just go ahead and do the problem. Whoops, we're in pencil here. A times C is 56. And your B value is negative 15. I need two numbers whose product is 56, but their sum or adding is negative 15. Now I'm going to list out all the factors of 56. So I got 56 times 1, 2 times 28. Can 3 go in there? 2, no. 4 goes in there 14 times. 6, nope, 7 times 8. Okay, these are all the factors or numbers that multiply to be 56. So let's go ahead and pick one of these, because when I subtract them, meaning 56 minus 1, if this was a negative 1, that would give us 55. So I need one number, and if you add two of those together, you'll notice that's these two numbers. Okay, so I have 8 and 7. Let's double check. 8 times 7 is 56, but 8 plus 7 does not equal negative 15. So here I'm going to make both of these negatives. Let's go over here and highlight. Let's pick a different color. So if I have negative 8 and negative 7, those go here and here. So my answer is x minus, x minus 8 and x minus 7 is our answer. And again, those are the same thing as if it was x minus 7, x minus 8. Okay, what would happen if you didn't know the shortcut? Okay, then in purple, those would always go here. The first term would go here, and the last term would go here. So we said the first term goes in the top left of the box, those in purple. You need to add an x, okay? So let's go ahead and fill that out. Let's use a different color I have not used. Let's use red. Okay, so in yellow, I have x squared. Can't use yellow. What color have I not used? Orange, green, purple. How about this light blue? Dark blue, purple, cyan. I like cyan. Okay. So in yellow, I have x squared. That's from over here. Okay. The negative 8 comes. Whoa. Yeah, that problem. Sorry. Negative 8 comes and negative 7. So negative, pay attention, negative 8, and you have to add an x. Because these two terms here, negative 7 and negative 8, are breaking up the b term, which is negative 15. And then the last one is positive 56. Okay, let's go ahead and just take out the greatest common factor. Let's go towards the left here. What's the greatest common factor? That is an x. Greatest common factor going up, that is also an x. Another way you can think about it is x times x gives you x squared. Okay, what is the greatest common factor going up here? It is a negative 7. Okay, another way of thinking about it is negative 7 times x equals a negative 7x. And last one is greatest common factor of 56 and negative 8. That's going to be a negative 8. Double check your answer. Negative 8 times x gives you negative 8x. And negative 8 times a negative 7 gives you a positive 56. So these are answers on the outside of the box, which is the same right here. In summary, when you're having a trinomial, there are 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. Identify your a, b, and c. Put it into the x, and you get an answer. If you don't see it, you can also use the box, and you'll still get an answer. Okay? Question number 4 is factor completely. Okay, a little bit tricky. What's the first question? You look at your flowchart, and the flowchart tells me to find the GCF. So break up your terms. That's of 3x to the 4th, which is 3 times x times x times x times x. And then 48x squared is going to be, well, here's your hint. This one has a 3, so I'm going to have to choose a 3. I'm going to use my calculator. 48 divided by 3 is 16. So 3 times 6, and then I have 2 x's here. So my GCF is going to be a 3. and an x. And what did I not highlight there? It's going to be a x to the third plus 16x. Okay. Oops, I made a mistake. And maybe I made this mistake on purpose to show you 3x. Let's use purple. 3x is not the GCF. Okay, why? Because if you notice in here, they still have an extra x. Can you look back up here? You see how I should have circled out another x. So if you put that other x out here, the real answer, the real GCF, is 3x squared. Real GCF. So if I take out, that means there's one less than the third, so that would be x squared plus 16. And remember, you can always check your answer by distributing. That will give you 3x to the fourth and 48x squared. Okay, just in case you thought you can factor that, that's x squared plus 0x. You need that placeholder, the b value, plus 16. And a times c would be 16, and your b value would be 0. Okay? There are no two numbers that multiply to be 16 and add to be 0, because that would have to be 4 and negative 4 to add together to get 0. But if you multiply all those, you get negative 16. I'm on a positive 16, which means that here in yellow, this is prime. So this is my final answer. All in this problem, all you had to do is take out the greatest common factor. All right, I went over these questions. Hopefully it was helpful for you for your real quiz later. See you guys.